Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Plastic EP and Chachi show. And let me tell you, it's Chachi's birthday. Happy birthday, Chachi.
Thank you very much, Plastic EP. It's Chachi LaPret, originating out of just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, down by Cape Cod, a very nice vacation spot. And Plastic EP is in Melbourne, Australia. So you're a day ahead of me. How was my birthday? Since you are
Very
one
good,
day
but let
ahead.
me tell you, you're in Boston. You know, when you turn the car, you go Boston. Around the corner there from Cape Cod, where you can go fishing and catch a bit of cod. But let me tell you, we got a very special guest on today. So let's go straight into our theme song. And Plastic EP and Chachi live are back.
You make me feel like a spinning top. Oh, you make me feel like a spinning top. Spinning top, spinning top. Baby, you make me feel like a spinning top. Yeah, baby, you make me spin.
Yeah, we're back, and we're going to have a very special guest, Jason Krupa, who has written a book with Ken Womack. Now, I'm just going to cover you up for 1 second there, Chachi. Here's the book. It's called All Things Must Pass Away, Harrison and Clapton. And it's got there, you can read that about the love songs. Isn't that a fantastic book? And guess what? Today is the day of the release of the book. Make sure you go out there and buy it. How are you, Jason?
Hey, how's it going? Happy birthday, Chachi.
Thank you, Jason. It's a pleasure to meet you. We both know Mr. Womack. He's a great man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show to talk about my favorite Beatle, George. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is going to be a pleasure.
It's going to be a
pleasure.
Now,
Jason, show us your copy of your book that no one's seen, please.
They'll see it today because it's out. It's hard to see where I'm supposed to hold this.
Yeah, we got a little bit back. There you go.
There we go. Yeah,
a little bit of a reflection, but we saw the picture that.
Yeah, just open it up for a minute. Show us a couple of pages so people can see.
Yeah, so this is a cool thing. We got the arranger on the album, John Barham, sent us scans of his score for My Sweet Lord and for Isn't It a Pity, which is the back covers.
Fantastic.
So that's a lot of fun. I was really happy to get that from him. He was super. I'm not sure if this is really hard to.
We get the idea, Jason, and
there we go. Yeah,
but it's fantastic.
And lots of pictures.
It's a hardcover, which is always nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Congratulations on the book.
Thanks.
Released on my birthday, Plastic.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, Kathy C.C. Carlson is coming with happy birthday to you, Chachi, and also get this too. Congratulations, Jason. You can't ask for better than that of the book. Now, Jason, before we get into the book, just tell everybody, please, all the major platforms now that can go out straight after the show and buy the book and start reading it.
Well, there's Amazon, there's Barnes & Noble. They're probably at most local booksellers. Wherever you buy books, all the major outlets.
That says enough. Now, after doing the book and writing it with Ken Womack, I just want to ask you, tell me one of the highlights of the book for Chachi and me and all the viewers out there.
I mean, there are a lot of highlights. I learned that everything I thought I knew about this album was either not quite right or completely wrong. So I had to go relearn everything that I thought I was going to write and write a whole new story. So I think there are going to be a lot of surprises. I mean, one thing is, the scores just by themselves really interesting to look at. The Isn't It a Pity score. We're kind of getting to the end of the story here, but the score actually has a whole section for woodwinds and brass that you don't hear on the record. There's a lot of stuff that was written that was left out. So that's from the sort of the strictly technical music part. The story part, the big myth that we all have thought, I thought when I started writing is that Derek and the Dominoes was the house band for the entire album from the beginning to the end. And what I found out is that wasn't exactly true. Eric Clapton and Bobby Whitlock were there from the beginning, but Carl Radle and Jim Gordon actually came in a little bit later. So that whole story of how Derek and the Dominoes forms and when they all get together and why those people are together is part of the story. And I'm actually very proud that we worked that out. Hadn't known that before, so that's all new stuff.
That's fantastic. So it is about the entire box set of All Things Must Pass.
Well, it's yeah, we're not connected with the box set, just to be clear, but it's about the story of the making of the album.
Yes, yes.
And then how that gives birth to Derek and the Dominoes and Layla.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to make a connection to the re-release, but I've always known it as the box set when I bought it in 1970 or 71.
Right, sure.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you do a song by song analysis, or is it an overview on everything?
We do we introduce George and Eric, talk about their backgrounds and how they come together, and then George's development in the Beatles and Eric's development as an artist in his own right. And then once we get into the albums, we do a chronological walkthrough of the making of each album.
Great.
So day by day with All Things Must Pass. And we interviewed Klaus Foreman, Alan White, who played drums on a lot of it. One really interesting and important interview was John Leckie, who was the second engineer on the entire album. It was his first major project working at Abbey Road. He'd started in February, and the session started at the end of May. So this was his first big job. And he was there for everything. He's 20 years old, so he has this great memory of all this stuff. So all this detail, and then lots of other people who were there at the time too, sort of filling in little details.
And what was it all recorded at Friar Park, or were?
No, it was all at Abbey Road. George bought Friar Park in January of that year.
That's right. Yes.
And then moved in March.
Yep.
And he realized there was no way he was going to be able to get it together for an album.
Because I've interviewed Gary Wright several times. They did a lot of hanging out at Friar Park.
Right.
But the record was done elsewhere, right? Yeah.
And we discovered, we can talk about this a little later if you want to try to stay chronological, but the Sir Frankie Crisp, Let It Roll is a big part of the sort of the mystique. The cover is shot at Friar Park. There's that whole sense of George has moved into this estate and he's going to start restoring it. He's as he gets older, he becomes more of a gardener than anything else, I think. That's what by his own words. And we discovered that he took a lot of the lyrics of that song from a map of Friar Park that Sir Frank Crisp had commissioned in the early 20th century to sort of act as a guide for visitors to the park. So we outlined that in the book. We weren't able to get a copy of the map that was in good enough quality to print before we got the book out, but we go into detail about that. So
I got to say, Friar Park is so many rooms, and he put his recording studio in there. How long did it take for him to put his recording studio in there after he moved in?
I don't know the exact dates on that, but I don't think he started working on that until 1971, and then he recorded most of the next album, if not all the next album in there. But contrary to what a lot of people think and what they've written over the years, it doesn't have 100 rooms. It only has about 30 rooms.
Well, it's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's plenty of room.
Now, Jason, you look kind of young. I don't know if you're a first generation Beatles fan.
I'm 51, actually. So
Well,
I'm
you
not
look
a first
very young
generation.
for 51.
Thank you.
Well, I turned to that song that everyone dreads when they reach that age from the Sgt. Pepper album. But
What's that, 64?
yeah, 64. But
Don't tell anybody when I'm 64.
Exactly. But Jason, is this your first book? Where did you grow up, and what did the Beatles mean to you growing up?
So this is my first co-write. I've contributed to a lot of books over the years. Last 20 years or so, I have been sort of had a secret life, I say, as an amateur music historian. So I've contributed to various books in that. And then Ken and I have known each other a few years, and he was sort of trying to convince me to write a book. And he said, we should do something together. And we came up with this, and he actually kind of had to talk me into it a little bit, because I thought, oh, everybody knows this story. Like, there's nothing to tell here. And then once I started looking into it, I realized that none of it
Yeah.
had been told.
I got to say
You know.
this, Ken Womack, if you're watching, from Chachi and me, we just want to tell you, sorry, Chachi. This is a great book. Everybody out there in the world, today is the day that it's been released. Go out there and buy it. You'll spend a little bit, but I'll tell you what. How many pages is it, Jason? Roughly.
It is. Let's see. Let's not look at the
200?
I mean, with the end notes and index, it's 288.
Okay, great. So you're going to get great reading. Go out there and buy it everywhere, Amazon, wherever it is. And what else can you actually tell me now between George and Eric? I mean, after Eric married Patty Harrison, I mean, their relationship was still okay, wasn't it?
Yeah, their friendship weathered it, and you've probably heard the radio interview George did years later in the 80s where somebody called in and asked about that, and he said, I'd rather she be with Eric than with, some other idiot. I think he valued their friendship, and there was not this possessive sort of attitude of, she's mine and forever, and it's going to destroy the friendship. It was a much different mindset, obviously, back in late 60s, early 70s about relationships. But yeah, they stayed friends, to the end.
Yeah, he had such a backlog of songs, and we all recall the comment he made that he was constipated with so much music.
Right.
And I bought that record in Harvard Square, Cambridge, Mass. in 1970 at the Harvard Coop, and I was completely blown away by the packaging. And did you go into that as far as the elaborate box set, and maybe Alan Klein had a lot to do with that, getting the money to convince to put out a package of that nature? He really went overboard for George on that. I think.
Yeah, it was really George. George was pushing that. Alan Klein sort of got their finances in order, and George had more money, obviously as a result of something.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good hit. So that increased his fortunes. And then once he got to the point where he was thinking, is this going to be a double album? Is this going to be a triple album? He finally talks himself into the triple. And there's, we have a whole passage on the packaging, and there was a poster that was supposed to be in there that ended up not being in there, which we have an image of in the book. And it's, it was his big coming out party, and he was going to do everything big as possible. It was a statement.
Yeah. Plastic.
I just want to say it's amazing with George that he had all this catalog of songs that he was dying to release during the Beatles but couldn't. And then when they busted, then he goes straight into what he wants to do. So, you've got to weigh it up. They ended up getting creative control. And I'm sure George, he was waiting to get away from the Beatles just to be able to put his stuff out, do it his way with no one telling him what to do. Because even as John said, I agree with him. After they busted up, John said to everybody, if you want a Beatles song, these songs are so great, get some from me, get some from Paul, get some from George, get some from Ringo, and put it together, and there's your Beatles album. And he said, not only that, you're not getting 25% like creative control from me. You're going to get 100% control when you buy my album or when you buy George's album. So in other words, I can understand that when they were the Beatles, they're expected to be the Beatles, and there's certain constraints that we don't really understand. Like in the early days, we'll do an album, but we'll give one song to Ringo. And George was the one that always wanted to come up, but it never happened. You know what I mean, Chachi?
Oh, yeah. He was always in a tug of war to get his records on Beatle albums. And there were more, Abbey Road and in the later albums, but that lends itself to the fact that he was constipated with so much music. But Jason, let me ask you, can I pick out a couple of songs from the box set and ask you about it?
Sure,
because it is such an important record for me. And when I first got it, we always marveled at the lyrics, because back then you didn't have an internet, and you had to guess what the lyrics were by listening it over and over again. But having the box set with the lyrics, and it struck me because one of my favorite songs, one of the lines is omitted from the lyric sheet. And I know Jason knows that.
Mhm.
And I thought it was such a fantastic song, especially when he sang it on Concert for Bangladesh. So the line is, the Pope owns 51% of General Motors. Why did they leave that line out of the lyric sheet? Do you have any insight on that?
He was afraid of sort of offending certain powerful people who might have taken offense at that.
So
If
it
the Pope
was.
owns
So it
50
wasn't the record company; it was him.
I mean, I think the record company might have said something to him.
And it's his record company. It's Apple.
Right. I mean, he could do what he wanted to, but it's also, you look at the lyric sheet of Plastic Ono Band, and they've bleeped out a couple of, they blanked out a couple of words there too. So the record company, we have to think about what EMI was in 1970, is still pretty conservative, and they may still do that. I haven't looked at anything recently to see if they still practice that, but I have noticed in some record labels will sort of blank out certain words, even the word God. I remember the lyric sheet for a Leonard Cohen album has the word God, and the O is an asterisk. It's like they can't say that word. It's strangest thing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but I agree, that's a great line.
It is a great line. And, you'd think he'd be fine with it after John's comment in 66. It's like, can you get any worse than that?
Right.
But the Vatican actually put out a statement about their, not being involved in the stock market or something. Do you know that at all?
No, I don't know anything.
Yeah, they put out some sort of a statement. But anyway, really? I'm sorry to go off track there, but that's one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, the thing about George was he was hesitant at first about My Sweet Lord, because he was afraid, if I come out and I talk about God, people are going to be freaked out, they're going to be offended. And he finally went through with it, and it turns out there was no backlash whatsoever. But he was sensitive to these things. I think he was wondering how people were going to respond to this.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, with the Beatles album Abbey Road, okay, and you can hear John. He goes, we got people in the US now, the album's going to be released, Abbey Road. And he goes, the one they're all going crazy about is the song Something. He said that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, the Beatles knew how great that song was off that album, John and Paul,
they
because
knew
of the feedback they were getting from the US.
Oh,
so
yeah,
what I'm trying to say is, after all these years, George Harrison is finally getting some songwriting credit and being recognized on their last album before they go. The precursor to him going and doing his own stuff. I mean, how the wheel turns and comes around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, also, Jason, George had stated that there were so many people going in and out of the sessions, he never really knew exactly who was playing. And you probably know what I'm going to say next is the Phil Collins story, that he was a young percussionist. They brought him in. And is it true that they kind of he played and they kind of conferred, and then they went in the back room with Phil in the studio. Then they came out and said, okay, Phil, you're done. And he thought that he failed the session or something.
Well, that's what he thinks. And he has always associated that with Art of Dying.
Yes.
Now,
okay.
I've listened to Art of Dying, and I've listened to the outtake of Art of Dying, which was an earlier, different arrangement, which is very much like a Phil Spector Wall of Sound arrangement, the way he builds the rhythm and the instruments and everything. Neither of those have conga drums on them. The only song on the album that has conga drums is Wah Wah from the first day. And it would make sense, because there are probably a dozen people in the studio for that session, that they would have another percussionist come in, because they have all these people playing. So my thought is that he comes in the first day. Spector says, I want all these people. I want 3 pianos. I want, conga drums. I want this. I want that. And that's when they call him in. I don't know why he thinks it was Art of Dying, but that's where I put him, because it doesn't make sense for him to be any other day. And it's on the record. You can hear it. So he's on there. He didn't get cut. He just didn't get credited. And it's because nobody was writing anything down. That's the problem. That is one mystery we faced again and again. And the best I could do, is make a timeline of where everybody was and try to determine if people could actually have been at the sessions that they, either claimed to be, or if they were, remembered they were at those sessions, or somebody else said they were. And for the most part, I mean, we're not going to get a perfect list of who played on what. We can do a pretty good approximation, but I think we worked it out. We worked out a few things that I don't think had been nailed down before.
Now, as I say, we want to thank you for being on the show, Jason. It's been our pleasure. Please, everyone, go out there and buy the book. Been released today. It's a fantastic book. Give our regards to Ken Womack as well.
Will do.
Buy the book. Enjoy the reading, because believe me, these authors, Chachi, they spend so much time writing it. How long did it take to write the complete book, Jason?
Probably 6 months. Just the writing. The research was a year and a half, maybe.
Wow.
There you go. That takes time to do it. And believe me, the authors worked very hard just to give you something to do. And now during this pandemic, what we do, you can't ask for a finer read. And we thank you, Jason, for being on the show. Everyone has said go out and buy the book.
Yeah, for me, Plastic and Jason, summertime is my favorite time to read. I like to sit outside and read, and it's my favorite album. And we love Ken. We've had him on before. I know the Plastic has. He's been on my radio show. So give Mr. Womack our best.
Will do.
And he puts out books all the time. The guy's a machine.
Yes,
and we love him. But he's a great guy. So send him our
great.
best. Yeah,
will do. Guy. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
guys.
Jason,
Thank you,
for
Jason.
being on the show.
All right.
Peace.
Well,
that was
fantastic.
fantastic.
Look at that. That was fantastic, was it not, Chachi?
It was great. We hit a couple of home runs the last week or so. Having Michael Lindsay Hogg on our program, and by an invite from you. That's the only reason why I was on it. And I like to thank you for that, because that was a highlight in my career as a Beatles fan, radio DJ, historian, if you want to call me that. We love Michael Lindsay Hogg. What a fantastic life. Why is that placard up on?
Because we love the Beatles. And I've got to tell you something, Chachi.
Yes.
We love the guys so much. And here on Plastic EP and Chachi Live, I mean, how great is it that now we're celebrating your birthday? And I don't want to keep talking about the age, but you know yourself.
Yes.
That when you turn 64 and that famous Beatles song, right, comes on when you're 64, how do you feel? And I want to say, show me your Beatles stuff. And because it's your birthday, Plastic EP has got a few things he wants to show you. Okay?
Oh, okay. Now this is
Are you ready for this? You don't have to show anything.
Okay, because I'm not
Plastic
prepared.
EP's got everything. But what I want you to do is start off with just your Butcher cover. Is that okay?
Oh, okay. Let me go right back here. This is one of 3 Butcher covers that I own. Fantastic. This is a peel off where they steamed off the cover, which is right in the other sleeve here. But that's, like I said, one of 3 Butcher covers. I keep this one around so I can show you, Plastic. So that's my Butcher cover here. And then we have something new and the Beatles program. Oh, there it is right there.
The Australian album with the Beatles that I just showed. There you go. How great's that?
And then this one here.
Yep, VJ.
And I had this up because of Michael Lindsay Hogg. I mean,
Now, I've got to ask you, Chachi, how was that Elvis record? 50,000 Elvis fans can't be wrong. Last time you showed us that.
I
great
love
was
that.
it?
I love Elvis. I've loved him more in the past, but I do. Little sister, don't you? Little sister, don't you kiss me once?
Can you sing me, please, a little bit of Rockahula? Just a little bit, please, for fans out there.
She got a hula loo from Honolulu and a rockahula baby of mine. But it's really a pleasure to be with you. Oh, there he is. Oh, the Beatles at Carnegie Hall. Wow. Is
How
that an
great's that?
original?
The original one. Look at the price. That's 2 shillings and 6 pence.
Wow.
I wanted to show that to you. Watch.
Yeah. Good.
Because it's your birthday. Look at this. And there
Ready.
you go. That's like Ready, Steady, Go there that Michael Lindsay Hogg was on. Are you ready?
Steady.
Steady, go.
Go. Let me tell you a couple of things about Michael Lindsay Hogg that you don't know. Oh, look
Please
at that.
tell me, enlighten me.
He is a baron. He has a title. He's a baron. His stepfather was part of the Strauss family who owned Macy's. His stepfather's grandmother and grandfather passed on the Titanic. They were on the Titanic, and in the story, the grandmother was given a place on the life raft, but she refused because she wanted to stay with her husband, and they passed away together. He hung out with the likes of Henry Miller, Orson Welles, Humphrey Bogart. The list goes on. William Randolph Hearst. He's an author, a director. His book, Luck and Circumstance, I fell in love with it. And I'm so grateful to you, Plastic, for including me in the interview. So everyone who's watching should go to Plastic's YouTube page or my website, breakfastwiththebeatleschachi.com, and watch part 1 and 2. When was the last time Michael Lindsay Hall gave an interview? I can tell you what that is. 2010, when he wrote his book, he did some appearances. He's never really done anything since. And he did it because of you, Plastic, because he loves you, and he has friends in Australia, and he said yes.
You know what? We love him too. And let me tell you, on the Plastic EP and Chachi show, we do not sleep, do we, Chachi? Because we are chasing the biggest people in the Beatles world to get them on the net, to talk to them so that you get to learn things that you've never learned. Am I true, Chachi? And we're not going to talk about who we're chasing now, but we are chasing somebody.
Yes. And you are right about that, because I will tell everybody who's watching, when you're watching the Michael Lindsay Hogg interview, it's about 3 in the afternoon for me and about 3 in the afternoon for Michael Lindsay Hogg. And this man, Plastic EP, what time was it for you when we did that?
5 a.m.
7 a.m. The guy's up. I will never do anything before 11 a.m. Plastic EP is up at 7 a.m. I thought one was 5 a.m. because there were two different ones, but 7 a.m. is still early.
No, it's all 5 a.m. I've got to explain to you. I know the times. Yes. Right, 5 a.m. is 3 p.m. New York time. So what happens is we did the first interview at 3:30, right, which was 5:30 a.m. Then the second interview we did at 3 p.m. New York time, which is 5 a.m. Now, Chachi, I want to show you a few things, and I want you to tell me if you like these items since it's your birthday.
Okay.
And I want to know how interesting these different items are, okay, just for you to see, because it's your birthday, and we're doing this birthday edition.
Okay.
Now, listen, I like British humor, and one of my favorite shows is this. Are you familiar with this show?
I am not familiar with that show.
You got to watch this show, Reg Varney, on the buses. You will crack up laughing. You got to do that, right? You got to do it. Now, I'm going to show you some stuff that no one's seen out of my personal Plastic EP collection, right? It's going to blow you away because I'm only doing it because it's your birthday. Now, listen, I happened to go to a record shop, and in the bargain bin, guess what?
What?
I found this. Read it out.
Rolf's Christmas with the featuring 6 white boomers.
But let me tell you something. Guess what?
What?
On the back, he signed it and done a drawing.
Holy cow. Wow. And you found that in a record store in Australia?
$5 in the bargain bin.
Oh, my God.
And he signed it, and he's done the drawing of himself. How good's that?
And you paid $5 for that?
$5 Australian. That's legit. You can't draw like that.
Wow.
And do you know what? With Rolf Harris, let me tell you, he toured with the Beatles.
Of course, yeah.
In the early days, when they were doing the pantomimes, he was on, and the Beatles used to go around with him, and they used to take the mickey of him. When he was on, they were stirring jokes. I don't know if you know that.
Well,
and then there's a recording. You know the one time he danced sport and the Beatles in the background doing all the funny stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I played that on my show.
He's related. Like, basically, he connects to the Beatles.
Wow.
How unbelievable is that?
Now,
listen, you know this record here. This is the one I showed when we did Bobby Rydell. And he freaked out about Anne Margaret.
Yeah.
The promo copy of Bye Bye Birdie. Not for sale, just a promo. How great was that doing Bobby Rydell? And that's the Australian version that came out original. That's not for sale, promo, Australian copy.
And I will tell you that our viewers and listeners, I went to Plastic EP, and I've gone through the last year or so. I would want to interview certain people, and I went to Plastic. I said, I want to interview Bobby Rydell. I love Bye Bye Birdie. He does the greatest version of Volare, and he was a teen idol, and he's still with us, and I wanted to take advantage of that. And before you know it, Plastic EP had him on the screen, and we had the pleasure of talking to Bobby Rydell. And when you held up that record, that blew his mind.
It blew his mind. But let me tell you, Charles Rosenau is one of our best friends. And when you did that big event and Charles turned up and you met the man, not from the net, but in person, because as I said, everybody gets to meet people because of Plastic EP. Did that blow your mind when you actually physically met Charles?
Well, I've known Charles for 30 years.
Okay, that's all right then. But you've met him before in person?
Oh, yeah. I've met him before.
It's all right then.
But I love that angle. But no, I've known him for years. And because I used to get his magazine,
Oh, that's right. Sunshine. What was it called?
Yeah.
Good Day Sunshine.
Yeah. And he was on my show last week, my radio show, which is Breakfast with the Beatles. It runs in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine.
That's amazing. So you knew him prior. That's fine then.
Yes, I did. But, go ahead.
Check that out. The Swinging Blue Jeans.
Swinging Blue Jeans.
I love those Swinging Blue Jeans. And you know that I actually interviewed Ray Ennis, don't you? Direct from Liverpool.
I did not know that.
See, the problem when you got 500 interviews, no one knows what the other 499 are.
Yes, and I'd like to congratulate you for reaching 500 interviews. Pretty amazing what you do. And you have the support of your lovely wife, Vicky. And I love seeing your Facebook postings when you're out having nice desserts in Australia somewhere. Are you still in lockdown over there?
We're in lockdown. It's going to Tuesday. But let me tell you this, Chachi. Plastic EP, from his 500 show, has done 4 specials, and I'm doing the last one now, 5. I'm not doing any more. And I want to thank everybody out there. And I said, you being on the first one with Ivor Davis interviewing me and my wife, Vicky, that is one of the greatest interviews I've seen. You totally agree, don't you? We had so much fun, especially when you go, can you get your wife here? And I'm calling her, right? And then you go, by the time she comes, you'll be on 600 interviews. That cracked me up.
That was fun. And there's an example of what you did for me in my life during the COVID year or two. You introduced me to Ivor Davis, and now we're friends. He did a special broadcast for me. Leslie Cavendish. The list goes on. What do you got?
I have that. You know how rare this is? I gave you a copy, and I got another one, right? Because I always come across them, Chachi. Everything's replaceable. Let me explain something to you. These things are replaceable. People aren't replaceable, right?
Yeah.
So I got another copy of this, and let me tell you, this is the photos from the Sydney Hordern Pavilion concert in '64. How great is this? Honestly, you don't know. This is getting harder and harder to get.
I got to tell you, Plastic EP is such a generous man. He sent me 15 to 20 original Australian Beatle 45s, all in record sleeves or from jukeboxes. Really amazing gift. Sent them all the way from Australia. God bless you, Plastic. And
let me tell you, I just interviewed a guy in Germany, right? He's called Kongen Man. Right now, he's got Beatle records from around the world that no one's seen, the European records. And when he went through the EPs, Australian and the Great Britain ones, because they're the ones I gave you, they're all printed in Australia, basically, apart from the Magical Mystery Tour, which cost too much to get those 2 EPs. In the each record has got 2 songs on it. Right?
Yeah, right.
You open up the book, they couldn't afford to make it in Australia, so they imported it from Great Britain in Australia in '67. But let me tell you, you know which one he told me is the most valuable EP? It's the one that's light brown. It's got the 4 faces only. He told me, said that's the most valuable one. Very hard to get. You've got that. So, as I said, that's really great. Now I'm going to show you something that's really rare.
Thank you.
Right? Now, believe it or not, this has come from Japan. And you don't know how big this band is. This you cannot find. And I was lucky enough I found it. Have you ever seen this? That's an original release from '71. The Partridge Family in gold. Don't laugh. There's a lot of fans out there that love the Partridge Family.
Hey, I watch it on the weekends. It's on TV here. I watch it on Saturday mornings.
Hey, all I want to say is, come on, let's get happy.
Come on, let's get happy.
Come on, let's get happy.
I love Reuben Kincaid. He's my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah. He's great. He was the manager.
Yeah.
And what about as I said, the Partridge Family? I know a lot of people associated with people that know members of the Partridge Family. I'm still waiting to get an interview. So anybody out there from the Partridge Family, if you'd like to be interviewed, please let me know, because Plastic EP's diary is filling up.
So who's still around? I know. Yeah.
Susan Day's around.
Wow. Okay.
Right? The kid that played the drummer, he's still around.
Okay. Danny Bonaducci.
Danny's still around. Danny Bonaducci. I love to get Danny Bonaducci. You know he's on the radio.
Yeah, I know.
Does radio shows. You might be able to contact him, Chachi, and get him on so we can sing "Come On, Let's Get Happy." Now, this is Japanese.
Ah, there you go. I love that.
That's an original one.
Is that "I'm a Believer"?
Oh, look at this. Show you the back. I'll tell you what's on it. I can't read Japanese, right? It says the monkey, so now I've got to open it.
So tell me about Monkeys
I Want to
Radio.
Be Free and Valerie.
Oh, I love Valerie. That's a good song.
You know who did Valerie?
No.
Louis Sheldon. He's in Queensland. He lives in Queensland. He was in the Wrecking Crew. He plays the guitar on that song and Last Train to Clarksville. And now, since you're talking about the Monkeys, I've got to tell you about Monkey Mania Radio.
Yeah.
And that's starting, Chachi. Let me tell you. Tomorrow, 6 a.m., everybody go and download the app, Live 365. Type in the word monkey, M-O-N-K-E-E. It'll come up, Monkey Mania Radio. Download it. Starts from tomorrow, 6 a.m. and goes full shows with all the hosts on the 12th of September, the anniversary of the Monkeys TV show premiering on television in 1966. That's when all the hosts have got their shows, and I've got a show Saturday and I've got a show Sunday, and Robin B's going to help me. And it's going to be a gas. We've got all the great hosts on. It's going to blow your mind away, because you're not only playing monkey songs, you're playing songs associated with the Monkeys.
Oh, okay. So how does that work? You're going to be spinning records from your home, or?
Well, how's it going to work is we got it all programmed, and I'll know what's coming on, what songs, and then I'll pre-record everything. And you'll be hearing Plastic EP coming in from Monkey Mania Radio. And this is going to be one of my tags, just exclusive for this show. I go nuts for the Monkeys.
Well, I will tell our viewers and our listeners that Plastic EP is a huge Monkeys fan. So congratulations.
I know that, but I'm a huge Beatles fan too. You don't understand,
I know that.
Chachi.
I know.
You know what it is? I've got to explain to you.
Yes.
When you're born, I say this and it's true. When you're born, that's the music that you grow up with. When the Beatles came in 1964 and were playing Festival Hall in Melbourne, the best concert they ever played in the world. You've seen that footage?
I have.
Right? I'm 6 years old. Sorry, Chachi, but all I see is this maze of screaming and that on the television. I don't understand. So here comes 1966, 67. I'm 8, 9 years old. So now at least I'm a little bit older. And there's the Monkeys bang July 1967 on the television, and it was black and white. We didn't get color TV until 1975. So now I'm watching the Monkeys, and man, I'm soaking in their music. I'm soaking in the influences that became my influence for songwriting. Boyce and Hart, who wrote the early Beatles hits like Last Train to Clarksville, Valerie. And they're my influences with Michael Nesmith. And that's where I was. But doesn't matter, you start off with the Monkeys, you end up at the Beatles anyway, because I can tell you, this is a true story, Chachi. And I really appreciate being able to say this story on this show. Right, I'm in the elementary school. I remember like it was yesterday. And I'm standing on a grass oval, and somebody has a radio, and I hear for the first time, I Am the Walrus. Now, this is 1967. This isn't now. And I'm used to Valerie. And then I'm hearing Oompa Oompa, stick it up your jumper, and all these things, you know, Madagascar dripping from a dead dog's eye, right? And it's like the aliens are landed. I'm not joking. That song was like it came from the aliens. It was like, you got to understand, people were very conservative that time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Suit, tie, you know.
Oh yeah, the
And
Beatles were
this thing
changing.
comes out from nowhere, like nothing you've ever heard. So what I'm trying to say is that's how ahead the Beatles were. Now look, this is a rare EP from Japan.
I love that. I
4
love that.
songs, very hard to get, and it's actually mint condition. You know what, Chachi, I got so many collectibles around here that it's a wonder that I don't find half of them out in the street. I've got to protect my stuff. Because Vicky's very good at getting stuff and putting it out the street. Now, here's a very rare Australian EP, Davy Jones. You rarely see this. He's on the beach. It was released here in Australia.
Wow.
So you don't get it everywhere. How great's that? And that came out in 67.
That's fantastic. Look at that.
Now, here's another one. I'll just keep it going, right? Because I really appreciate showing you.
My
We
pleasure.
won't be showing too many, but I'm just going to go. Here's another one you're going to like, right?
Yep.
I'll pick this up because you can't get it. Decca Records, Route 66, the Rolling Stones. How great is that to put on your wall?
That is great.
You know what it is, Chachi? I don't own these to play them. I own them to put them in the studio where my recording studio is and just put them on the wall and have them there. It looks the best. You know what I mean?
They're great. They're pieces of art. I totally agree.
Exactly. Now, I want to show you something that's really great. I don't know if you've got this right. You may or you may not have this. This has come out from Capitol. The Bee Gees' greatest hits. Have you got that?
I do have that.
Okay. So that's a beauty, isn't it?
We love the Bee Gees. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Barry Gibb, and he's a great man. And I will tell you, Plastic, May 15th, 2015, Barry Gibb played the Boston Garden. And we went backstage, my beautiful bride Stephanie and I, because Stephanie knows Barry. And so we went backstage to meet Barry Gibb. Took pictures. He loves Stephanie, and his wife loves Stephanie. We had a great time, and we went out to the show. We had 4th row center, the Boston Garden, thousands of people. Barry Gibb dedicates a song to his brothers, dedicates a song to his wife, and then right after that, he dedicates, I want to send this song out to Stephanie and Chachi, and he dedicated "Run to Me" because 4 weeks before I interviewed him, and I said to him, you know, my wife's considerably younger than me. And so I sing to her, you know, now and then you need someone older. 4 weeks later, he remembered that and went on stage before he played that song. I have the tape, and he dedicated the song to us, and the whole place started applauding. And he's such a great man. He is right behind Paul McCartney in terms of songwriting abilities, Barry Gibb.
I totally agree. And you've seen that video where he meets Paul McCartney and they hug each other. You've seen that video.
Yeah.
Now, here's another person that you like, Chachi, that I know you do. This is very hard to get.
Okay.
This is the 25th anniversary CD of Michael Jackson. Now, you don't find that. Chachi, you don't find this every day.
I did not know that. That's
so
a hot
I picked it
album
up
to find.
straight away. And let me tell you, because of Monkey Mania Radio, this is going to blow your mind, okay?
Yeah.
Mickey Dolenz has got a new CD. It's Mickey Sings Mike, right?
Wow.
He signed it to me. I ordered it because if you went to eBay, you could buy it and purchase it. And it's got the number there, right?
Wow.
Number 1013, Mickey Dolenz. And he signed that there. You can read that out. Can you read that? It's got my real name on it.
Who Daniel, cool, Mickey Dolenz.
Now, who knows who Daniel is? But let me tell you this.
Let's
go one step further. And Mike Nesmith himself has got this out now, which are the, you can read it, Michael Nesmith, different drums.
Yeah.
The Lost RCA Victor recordings. And guess who he signed that to?
Plastic EP. Best. Michael Nesmith. I love Michael Nesmith.
That is Magic Dan. Let me tell you, this is great too. This one here, I don't know if you got this. Have you got the Monkeys in your car?
I do not, but that's a great CD, the best of.
See, there's the back. I want to show you Rhino's.
Oh, look at that.
That's a ripper.
Yeah, that's a lot
ripper.
of songs, a lot of tracks.
Yeah, you love it. You need to get a Monkey CD. I'll just tell you.
I have a bunch of CDs, but you know what? I love their last CD that came out like 4 or 5 years ago. It was
Good Times. Good Times.
Yeah, that's a perfect summertime album. And
Did
a friend of mine.
That to you? Because you get a lot of free stuff and Plastic EP gets nothing.
I got that free, but because a friend of mine plays on it, and that is a perfect summertime album, just beautiful.
This one by Barry Blue, I interviewed him. I love Barry. You know why he's famous? For the song Dancing on a Saturday Night that sounds Greek. It's the only pop song that has Greek bouzouki in the whole song. Have you heard that one, Chachi?
I'm sorry to say, Plastic, I've never heard of Barry Blue, and
You know the one that I'm gonna try and jar your memory now. You ready?
Yes.
Dancing on a Saturday night. Do you not heard that? You got to go and look it up on YouTube.
I never heard
YouTube?
that.
Did they give you a free subscription to YouTube?
I don't know.
To iTunes.
Listen, I'm sorry. I get some things for free. Some things you want to see what I got for free? Look at this.
Please show me, because Plastic EP gets nothing.
Hold on. Let me get this out.
Yeah, don't worry. While you're getting that, I'm just going to show him this. This is a beauty, right?
Oh, that's
the
great.
monkey's 50th. Watch this. Look at this, Chachi. I paid for this 50th anniversary. 3 CDs. 3.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. Look at that. That's great. But look at this
play it. Chachi, I don't play it. I just keep them. Look.
Wow.
All right, what are you going to show me that's free? It looks like it came in the Express. What is it? That's amazing. And we just did George Harrison now.
It's a box set with all of his albums. And
unbelievable. Did that come from Capitol?
Look at the cover. Look at the cover. You get that thing going on.
3D. Did that come from Capitol?
It was a gift from a friend of mine who worked at Capitol Records. Yes.
Yeah, your friend that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, right?
Well, he doesn't work at Capitol anymore.
Okay, so. That's fine. But he must have connection. Now listen, Chachi.
He's so connected.
In all seriousness, all right, I know what blew you away. This would have to be the item that blew you away today. I'm going to show you one more thing before we go, but I reckon this blew your mind away. You agree with that?
That blew my mind. That's fantastic.
Now, let me show you what I've got, the last item, before we do the big wrap. Okay? I want you to guess what this is.
That's a deck of playing cards for 007.
That's it. Have you seen it before?
No, it says playing cards on the box. It says it right there.
Yeah, but I wanted you to read what it was. It's not a big deal.
It's 007.
Who do you know it's got a deck of cards? It's 007.
I said that. It's playing 007 playing cards. I love you, Plastic. You're the greatest. You are the greatest. You are the greatest.
Look at that. Do you see?
Those are awesome. Those are awesome.
Why's that got to look at this?
Fantastic.
Hey, pick a card, Chachi.
Let me see. Let me pick a card.
Wait a second. Pick a card. That's the one. Hang on. Right. Now, hang on a minute. Don't say anything, right? I've got your card here.
Okay.
Now, if we got ESP, right?
Yeah.
First of all, let's see how we go here. Now, tell me the color. Is it black or is it red?
It's red.
No, it's black.
Son of a bitch.
Now,
okay, pick another card. Let me pick another card.
All right, pick another card, all right?
Let me start over again.
But this time, if you get it wrong, you know how we did that mathematical quiz once? We did it 3 times, we got it right.
I know.
Pick a card.
Okay.
Any card. You got to hang on. Your card's here now. Got it. Thanks.
Okay.
Now, color. What color? Red or black?
It's red.
That's right.
I knew that.
That's right. Now, this is going to be the hard part, all right? Give me a number from 1 to 10, but I want you to think. I want you to think without thinking too much, right? Without thinking too much, I want you to tell me the number.
Okay. Well, it's not. I will tell you, it's not a picture card. It is not a picture card. It is red. Let me see. With the Beatles, there's 4 Beatles. There's 4 monkeys. I'll say the number 4.
That's right.
It's very easy. Now turn the card around. So
no, wait a minute. We got to ask you what suit it is. What suit?
Oh.
That's what they say, whether it's diamonds, clubs, whatever. What is it, Chachi? And I'm not telling you. Think.
It's diamonds.
You know, Chachi, you are right. Give the man a hand. Thank you, Chachi Lepret.
And you know why I knew it was diamonds?
Why?
because it's 007 playing cards and diamonds are forever.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching the show. Now, just before we go, hang on. Here we go. Dan Healy says hello.
I love
now,
Dan.
Dan Healy, as I said, he was the man to see Wings live.
Yeah, he's
right
the
when
greatest.
the first person to see. Imagine going to Junior's farm. A person called Junior, which I didn't know. He owned the farm. And Dan goes there and they're practicing their songs. And you'll watch it and practice their songs. I mean, is that like the most mind-blowing thing you could ever do?
Unbelievable. Once
and not only that, Chachi, let me tell you now, because I have to tell everybody. He's released a single, it's on YouTube, where he's done a version of the song Junior's Farm. And Jeff Britton, one of the drummers from Wings, is on it.
Yeah.
And there's another guy on it sings lead, Jonathan, right? And as I said, we're waiting for something to happen in the future where we can get him on the show. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be great. So now I just want to thank you so much, Chachi. But before I say goodbye, I want to wish you such a great, happy birthday, right? Because you do a lot for plastic, and I know you do. And just before you go, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. And goodbye, Chachi. But before you go, before I wrap it, I can only do one thing for you. Next time you're walking down a fruit shop and you see the bananas, you know what you're going to be singing, don't you?
Hey, Bananas, I think you're groovy. It's the #1 hit record, sweeping the nation, sweeping the world. It's the Plastic EP Band with Hey, Bananas, we think you're groovy. Thank you, Plastic
Hey,
EP.
please, have a great birthday, Chachi.
I love you, Plastic.
Hey, Bananas, we think you're groovy. Hey, Bananas, we want your movie. Yeah. Driving tune buggies everywhere, just going crazy without a care. Hey, Bananas, we think you're groovy.